So hello, everyone. I'm Ingrid. I'm really happy to be here right now. Let's give it a few. I see people are still coming in, so let's give it one more minute for people to keep joining. No, we can't hear you. So you can only hear me, Mona, and Seina. All of you for this session are protected. We can't hear nor see you, but we can read you. We are 100 participants at this point, and it keeps growing. 101.
Fantastic.
Yeah. You've all been already interacting a lot in the discussion panels, so I recognize your names, and I'm guessing you too recognize each other.
Wow, very active chat.
MashaAllah.
Mashallah. Good morning.
Happy to see everybody awake and happy on a Friday morning.
Yes. Commitment. That's high commitment.
That's high commitment.
12 a.m. here in Arizona.
I know. That's commitment. Okay. 3 a.m. in DC.
You win.
You win, Abdullah. And Abdul Aitani is also in DC.
3 a.m. in New Jersey. Well, this is great. This is actually giving me the perfect moment to launch this poll. So, Sundus, can you please launch the poll?
Sure.
So you just receive a poll asking what time is it where you are right now. And this will be a way to estimate where we are all around the world. So if you can please respond to that. We'll give it a few seconds.
Philadelphia.
I see a lot of East Coasters. Where is 1 a.m.? That's Central Time in the US. So whoever is not in the West Coast, like Chicago. Okay, so while we're doing this, want to introduce myself. Probably you already saw my bio online, and I've already been emailing you and having more feedback conversations with some of you. My name is originally from Argentina, but live in Boston. I've worked for McKinsey almost 5 years and did my MBA at MIT. I've been doing independent consulting for several years and training and coaching, and I've been in Saudi about 15 times already. I really love Saudi and I really love working with you guys. So really looking forward to this program. I've coached about 500 young Saudis at this point. So and you are another 200. So I'm very excited about this and really looking forward to supporting you and answering any questions you may have. And so I'm going to introduce Mona, who's also in the Fullbridge team. Mona, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mona Shibel, and I am a business coach and consultant. I've been a consultant for almost 22 years between being a banker and coaching people. So I've also been involved with Fullbridge, coaching their participants, so participants just like you in Saudi Arabia several times, and I also do coaching for entrepreneurs. So I've worked with many people and helping them grow their business and as well prepare them for going into their careers with reputable companies. So I'm very excited to be here. And I'm here going to be answering your questions. So if you have questions on the side, some not content related, but other questions. And the way we will work around this is we will be, I don't know, Ingrid, if you'll be sharing this at some point, but basically we will be gathering your questions and presenting them to Ingrid during the interaction so that you can answer, so that we can answer your questions.
Yeah, and the questions we don't get to answer, we're going to send an email later. So every question will get answered eventually. So also behind the webinar host, it's Sundus. You may already have interacted with her too. She's also in the Fullbridge team and she's awesome and may help with all the technical parts. So thank you, Sundus, for that. And now I want to introduce Zaina from Misk. Zaina, you can go ahead.
So thank you everyone for coming. This is fantastic and very exciting. So I'm Dr. Zaina Al-Hijran. I am from the Misk Foundation. Essentially here part of this, managing this whole process from you guys being shortlisted until inshallah, bi'idhnillah, some of you actually get into the internship program at some point in June. So thank you again so much for coming here. We are very excited about this program and the Fullbridge program. As you all know, Misk's mission really is to empower youth to learn and develop in general and specifically in the fields of education, media, and culture. Essentially through those programs that we are offering you guys today as one of them. And really, this, you guys, congratulations on being here. Just being here today is an accomplishment, right? We are offering this program to you as part of kind of empowering you moving forward, irrespective of what the final decision might be for the different programs that you guys are part of. This Fullbridge program really has proven itself for us. This is the second time we go through the Fullbridge program. From Bloomberg and BCG, the difference between candidates that have gone through the program and the candidates that haven't was very obvious in the way they've presented their CVs and in the way they've conducted their different interviews. Hence the importance of you guys going through these different modules and really interacting with your coaches. As you know, Ingrid probably knows us more than we know ourselves at this point in time after she's gone through coaching. So take advantage. And she has also the insights from the other side, right? From being part of the McKinsey organization previously and even Fullbridge now, and then even, her background in general. So she has insight from both the Saudi context and then the international context. So that's very unique and you should definitely get a lot of emails now, Ingrid, moving forward. But yeah, so definitely, you should definitely take advantage of the content and the material that Fullbridge is offering, which is quite unique and fantastic. So please make sure you do that. Moving forward, right, you are at a certain stage in your life, you've been chosen, you've been shortlisted. This means you guys are fantastic and you have the qualifications to move forward. So we expect your participation, your commitment, your professionalism, and again, taking advantage of this opportunity, right? We can only offer the support, we can only start helping build the bridges for you, but it's up to you to walk it, right? And get to the other side. So please make sure you do that. We are adults and we are professionals. And you're here because you're special. And we expect you to act accordingly. I will not take more of your time. the baton is back at your side, Ingrid. And again, thank you so much, Fullbridge team, and all of you guys. And we look forward to start this journey together.
Thank you, Zaina. Sundus, can we see the poll results? So now we're seeing the poll results. So we clearly have a big bunch in Saudi. We have, wow, 12% of you in the East Coast. That's really impressive. 3 a.m., some in Central Time or Mountain Time at 2 a.m. and 3% in the West Coast. Like, really impressive. Someone in Dubai also. This 1% may be me. I'm currently in Cairo at 9 a.m.
I'm in Dubai.
Yeah, you're in Dubai. Good. Okay. No one in London, I can see. Great. So that's just to have an idea of where we are. We're across the world, and this is really exciting. There's a lot of us. We're up to 111 right now. So exciting to know you. Mona, do you have any particular questions for Zaina before we move on? No?
There was a question about the interviews with someone. If they are in the United States, how will the interviews take place? Will it be online or in person?
So is it okay for me to answer this now, Ingrid?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, so let me just give you a brief overview. All the interviews will be conducted online, mostly through the BlueJeans link that we will be sharing with you as part of the separate invitations when we invite you to the different interview opportunities. You will get the details of every single interview every time you get invited, so you don't need to worry about it now, but just as a general comment. It depends on the different programs because we have different partners, so it's not exactly the same for every single opportunity, but you will be having at least 2 interviews, right, for every single one of them, depending on how far you get shortlisted, because every interview is a point in which people get filtered whether they go to the next step or not. So, and you will be notified accordingly. Most of the results, so just so you know, I'm just taking advantage of answering the potentially most common questions. Most of the results, we'll try our best to get the outcome of whether you're in or not in the separate internships by mid-May, right? Hopefully, inshallah. We try to commit to that from our side. It might happen at that point, might be delayed slightly, or it might happen earlier even, depending on the program, because we understand that there are visa issues and there are visa concerns, and also your own planning for the summer, right? I'm sure everybody has other plans as well, not just this one. So this is why we're trying our best to do so. And then this is why sometimes we kind of deviate from the given timeline. So for example, some interviews would need, again, we should have done the interviews after we finished the 3 modules rather than before, but because we wanted to kind of expedite the process, we started the interview before you finished the modules. But then the modules become a requirement for the second stage of interviews if some of you got through the second stage interview process. So this is just to kind of, there is some deviation from the set timeline, and hopefully you understand, and this is part of maybe learning to be agile and flexible moving forward, but we're trying our best to kind of really get things done as soon as possible, and also kind of really respect your timeline and your own commitments moving forward.
Sorry, one question only before we begin.
Yeah, sure.
Would they require just a visitor visa to go to do their internships?
So most probably not, depending on the nature of the internship, because some of them might be paid and some of them might not be, but it's the duration that is usually the problem, and most of them are 10 weeks long. So that most probably in the United States and the UK, this will not be enough. But again, we will support you in this process. You will not do this alone, so don't worry about it.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's jump into the program then. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So I'm assuming you can see my screen, right, Mona? Okay, perfect.
Yes, yes.
Good. So what we're going to quickly do is we already went through Misk and the Fullbridge introduction. I want to go into a little more introduction about what this program will do for you. So this program will definitely support you in your job search process, right? As you've seen, we have units like crafting your own personal pitch, writing your resume, how to do networking and interviewing. These are skills that are going to help you all your life. So you can say, oh, I need to do this unit because Misk is asking for the interview. But what's really important here is that what you're going to learn in these units will help you all your life for whatever job you're looking for at any moment. So it's as adults, we learn differently, and we need to understand why things are relevant for us. And I really want to highlight the fact that we're not treating you as sorry, as kids or as students. You're finishing school, and as of now, everything you learn, you're going to learn because you decide to learn it, right? And it's not about just ticking and sitting for exams anymore. It's about learning and growing yourself, right? So this program is designed that way, and this program will support you in any job search process or in any actually how to get into the first few jobs where, well, you may have learned all these very important things in school. Actually, what you need to have in order to be successful in the real job market is not necessarily what you learned at school. So because there's this gap, that we developed this program, for example, including how to communicate effectively, how to relate with your coworkers, how to understand how an organization works. So these are things that are what we call the soft skills that are not really taught at school because it's not like a textbook kind of thing, and it's not like an exact science, but it's what really makes you succeed in the workplace. So these are really important things. And so the program will support you in your job search process, will prepare you for the interviews, and also we allow you to stand out in your first job, because when you're compared to someone that did not go through this and are not aware of these basic interaction things and how to approach analysis and how to refer to your boss and how to communicate with your boss, participants have a really very different first job experience. So as you know, this is an online learning class, right? And so I know for some of them, this may feel a little annoying because, you know, it's just you in a computer and it may feel a little boring, but there's a lot of advantages to online learning. One is that it's self-paced. So you decide how fast or how slow you want to go. So when you're in a classroom, the teacher needs to decide the one that learns everything faster, or go at the speed at the one that learns everything slower, or somewhere in the middle and not please everyone, right? When we are in online learning, you can decide. And so maybe the finance units are easier for you and you can go through them quicker, and maybe the communication units are harder for you and you need more time. So online learning allows you to do that, and it's a really great advantage. It allows you to be flexible, so you can do it in your own time. You can do it from your cell phone, you can do it from your tablet, you can do it from your laptop, you can do it from work, you can do it from school, you can do it at home. So the flexibility to accommodate to your own adult schedule, it's another huge advantage. And also the quality. So there has been thousands of students just like you that already went through this content. So the content has been highly curated and highly tested. So if your feeling is like there's a mistake in the platform, the answer is very, very unlikely. Thousands of people have been going through this content, and every program we update the content. So we're very confident that the quality you're facing is the best, and that it's also in the clearest possible way. So if you have doubts, the first thing I recommend is read the instructions again. Read the exercise again. Go through the previous part again, because it probably the answer is there. And last one is scale. So this allows us to train much more people much faster, right? Like this content would not be available if you had to have a teacher with you through all the program. So these advantages of online learning are really good, and I encourage you to appreciate that and to get used to it. I know it's hard to just be by yourself with your screen, but use the discussion board to foster the sense of community and take advantage of this content. Having said this, I also want to clarify that exactly because Misk wants to offer this to much more participants, we've moved the content into the LearnAmp platform, and this is something that's happening for this program for the first time. So you'll see we are tweaking the platform here and there. We are improving how we talk in Slack. I do ask you to please be patient with us for that, because there's still some learning curve in adapting the Fullbridge content to the LearnAmp platform. So there may be some technical issues that we have to face. And that's why we have Mona, Sundus, and me to face those. So, but we anticipate, bumps in the way. So please bear with us during those. So having said this, I want to give special mentions to Abdullah Al-Shamari and Ahmad Al-Qudaihi, and I'm really sorry if I really didn't pronounce that correctly, that already finished the first 3 learn lists. And also to Ahmad Al-Qudaihi, and maybe I killed your name twice in a row, Tahrir Al-Anasi and Abdul Rahman Al-Manieh. And I should have had Mona read this name, so I apologize if I didn't pronounce that correctly. I know about 13 words of Arabic, and I'm very proud of my 13 words, but every new name is a challenge. For being the first ones to post the personal pitch videos in Slack. I know posting a video of yourself is not easy, but this is how we learn. So really glad that you were the first ones to post it, so congratulations. And keep up the good work. As Zaina mentioned, in particular, the first 4 learn lists. And apologizes, when we say units, we mean learn lists. We're just changing the vocabulary. So if you hear me say unit, no, I mean learn list. I'm trying to forget the word unit, but it may still come up. So the first 4 learn lists is really important for your first interview with Misk. So please make sure you do so before getting into the interview. If you have already been interviewed, that's okay. Just keep working on those because those are units to get you prepared. So first to prepare your resume, and then to be ready to face the interview. We've noticed that a lot of you are kind of going through the content, but not doing the exercises, right? And so when we mean that we need you to complete this, we mean that it's actually reading the content, doing the multiple choices, submitting all the completed exercises, and participating in the discussion board. And I know you may feel like, oh, why do I need to do this exercise? This is boring. But we learn by doing. And we learn by struggling while doing. So actually, the exercise in each learn list is the most important part, because that's where you put into practice what you learned through the unit. And I promise you that if you only read the content and don't do the exercise, you'll forget the content tomorrow or next week maybe. But if you read the content and actually put it into practice during the exercise, the learning will be much longer. You really get to incorporate the learning. So please do the exercises. And in particular, the exercise about writing your resume. So we want you to have the best resumes to present in these companies. And last time in Bloomberg, they were actually really impressed with the quality of the resumes. So the resume is your first filter. A company receives hundreds and hundreds of resumes for every position they are looking for. And so the resume, that's what introduces you. It's what takes you, it really makes you pass that first filter. So it's really important that it's polished, and we're going to go into more detail now. But it's really important that you have a good resume. So please do this exercise, and those that are going to go to the next level are going to get personalized feedback on your resume. Do we have any big questions so far, Mona?
We have one question that's actually important to clarify. Mustafa is asking, is the interview with Misk about the first 3 learn lists? So I answered no, but it would be important for you to explain this, please. Yeah.
No, so the interviews, sorry, the interviews are not tests, right? The interviews are job interviews, where they are going to ask you about your background, your skills, and why you're interviewing for this job. But the learn lists prepare you on how to best respond those questions. So we're not going to test you on your knowledge of the learn list, but if you went through the learn list and really understood the content, you're going to be able to do a much better job once you're in the interview. Make sense? Okay.
There was another question. If someone got accepted into the internship program, will they still have access to the platform? And because in her opinion, in his opinion, it's Saud asking, it is very valuable information that can benefit us in the future.
Do you mind if I answer that, Ingrid?
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to mention that at the beginning, but it slipped my mind. So again, as I said earlier, that just being shortlisted at this stage, you should congratulate yourself. And this is our reward to you. So this opportunity is open to you to the very end, whether you get accepted or not to the next stage or the next or the next. So you're in, and you should take advantage of the full course, the opportunity that this course offers you. So yes, so it will be open for whether you withdraw from the internship or you get selected to the next stage or get to the final stage, or yes or not, it's irrelevant. This course is open for you. You're in it, you're part of it. So take full advantage of it. As Ingrid has mentioned, these skills are not just to prepare you for this internship. These are life skills that we are offering for you, and we want you to take advantage of, irrespective of what the final decision may be, or even the next decision might be, because there are lots of filtration points at this stage. So we would ask you to take advantage, full advantage of that, and it's open for you guys.
Thank
you. There is one more question.
Zaina. Content will be open.
Yeah.
Just like, and we'll really encourage you to go through the content, take the course independently of if you're getting into this internship or not, because again, it will definitely help you for all your career. Yeah.
Yeah, there is one question. Ziad is asking, what are your suggestions to prepare for the interviews in the best way?
Okay, so go through the interview, the interview content, definitely. And we're going next week, Friday. I'm going to cover that in particular. This week, I want to focus, we only have half an hour more, and I want to focus on the resumes. That's the previous step. So tune in for more on how to be ready for interviews next Friday. And if you happen to have the interview before that, just make sure you go through the interview learn list before the interview.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Shall I give you more, or would you like to continue?
Let me continue. Let me go back to resumes, and again, we'll respond by email the questions that were not answered. Okay, so now I want, let me see, how do I do this? I'll just share my desktop. Okay. So we want to show you some examples of resumes you've submitted and things that I would do differently. Hold on, I need to, this is on me. So this resume, so first comment is format, right? You always think like whoever is reviewing your resume is reviewing hundreds of resumes. So we want to make it really, really easy for them to read and understand and see what they need to find. So having a structured, simple to read format is really, really important. And that's why we want you to use, if you don't have one yet, like it's very, very simple and structured, then use Fullbridge, the one that we're providing in the platform. So in this case, for example, like all this part, contact mobile, at the end, this is just not really helpful. Social media, unless it's relevant to what you're doing, say you're applying for a job as a photographer and you want to show your portfolio of photos in Instagram, don't include social media. You don't need it. It may actually generate more problems. So no need to include social media. And the LinkedIn profile, they are reading at your resume. They don't really need your LinkedIn at this point. And if they want it, they can Google you. So here, again, the format of this is not ideal. Use a standardized format, but also never more than one page. Like never. At this point in your career, maybe eventually when you are really experienced, you can have two, but I have 15 years of work experience and I still have a one-page resume. Because more than one page, everybody will dedicate around 30 seconds to read your resume. If you have 2 pages, whatever is in the second one will disappear. So make sure you have only one page. So here, for example, not only format, but also, grammar, like capital letters. If you're starting everything with a capital letter, be consistent. Don't leave spaces in the middle. The objective. Here it says to obtain a full-time position in a well-known corporate that offers a professional working environment and enables me to grow while meeting the corporation's goals. So first, you're applying for English-speaking companies, so your English has to be perfect. In your resume, you can't have spelling mistakes or English mistakes. So make sure that, that this does not happen. Run the autocorrect for spelling mistakes and have it read by different people just to see if there's some like wrong words, like here, corporate, this is not the right word here. But also this objective is really, really general, right? To obtain a full-time position in a well-known corporate that offers a professional working environment and enables me to grow. It doesn't really say why you are special and why we want you to be in our company. So make sure that when you write your objective, one, you customize it to the company. 2, you customize it to the job you're applying for. And 3, you show something special about yourself and why you're a good fit with that company and that job. The skills here were the skills. Strong communication skill, multitasking, ability to work, a team environment, adaptable and reliable, enthusiastic, quick to learn with good interpersonal and organizational skills, high sense of responsibility, fast, accomplish and achieve under pressure, committed and hard worker. I can assure you about 85% of you write exactly the same thing. So when I'm reading your resumes, as I did for the last program, this is just, it's not believable. Like, I don't, like, when I have like 85% of 200 applicants telling me that they have strong communication skills, leadership, an ability to work under pressure, it's not believable. So make sure that whatever you write in skills, you make it really customized to you. Really, what is the skill, the special skill you offer? And it may be helpful to ask your friends and colleagues and classmates, like, what do you think I do best? And really, like, write it in a way that's special for you, not just like, you know, a list of skills you think the recruiter wants to read, because recruiters know what they are looking for, and recruiters know when students are just putting like laundry list of skills. So this is done. Let's move to another one. So this is 8. This one also has a nice format. I still we had this situation in the last round last year, that even though some participants submitted like nice looking resumes like this one, they still ask to have it in the traditional American format. That's the format that we put in the template. So while I love your creativity, we are applying for like engineering and business positions. So I encourage you to just stick with the traditional format instead of trying to be creative. In this one in particular, for example, you see here, the same skills: leadership, teamwork, work under pressure, time management. Again, don't do this. Don't put these very general skills. Then there's 2 pages, and the second one is empty. Don't do this. This just shows that you're not detail-oriented. So make sure that the final version of your resume is really final. It doesn't have things like this. Yeah. So this is the feedback I had in this resume. So this one, it's number, not this one, sorry. So here, double pages, again, don't do 2 pages. Here we have like the school. Again, unless it's really relevant and it's a very special school, I would not encourage you to put high school. This Saudi Investment Bank school requirement in 2011. So this is 7 years ago. It's a 1-week thing. Don't include this, especially if you need to, you know, to reduce it to one page. Make sure that the information you include is relevant. It's relevant in 2 levels. One is relevant for the job, that the content is relevant for the position you're applying to, but also that it's relevant in the sense that it did do something in your life, right? So if it's a 1-week thing 8 years ago and school requirement, it doesn't really sound like it was very important. If it was, then be more explicit and explain what you did. Let's say you were like in an intensive MIT bootcamp where you worked 18 hours per day, as the one I facilitated last week in Turkey, that was from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day. So to just be more explicit on what you're doing, so that you explain what you did, what you learned. This is for formatting. Just also make sure the formatting is right. So here, for example, see, you have, well, there's this space here that shouldn't be here. It's just that for some reason the margin is wrong. So make sure the format is correct. When you put volunteer work here, great. Don't put lists that are this long. If you have a lot of volunteer work, then group them up and you can say volunteer work, organizing events and you can mention Blue Man Group, 10K SA, World Cancer Day, but don't take so much space if it's not like totally relevant information. Let's see this. Sorry, I have my notes and what I wanted to comment in each. Okay, then here, academic and non-academic activities here. 2008, this was 10 years ago. It's kind of, unless it was something really, really important, don't include it. And if you're going to mention it like this, Camp La Joya, San Diego, California, I have no idea what that means. So whatever it's not self-explanatory in the resume, don't either explain it better or don't include it. So this is example 1. Again, this is a nice format, but also it's too long. The summary here, a highly motivated and hardworking individual who has recently completed seeking an apprenticeship in the consulting industry to build upon a keen interest in exploring all business industry to start a career as a specialized consultant. See, here she's actually customizing it to this was actually a resume for BCG. So she was actually making it specific to the company she was applying to. So I want to see something like this. Then this is example 3. This is also example 6. Very nice resume, super nice design. Unless you're applying to a design resume, don't do this. It just distracts, and recruiters don't want to see this. This one, CV 10. So this is, you can see, let me see, so you can see it has 2 pages. There you can see how it looks. So this is what we call laundry lists, right? They're just lists that don't have any kind of criteria. And these are not what we want. Laundry lists are hard to read, and you just, you like read 2 and you get bored. So if you have a lot of stuff, group them up. And we're going to see this in the problem solving. If you didn't see it in the communication, you're going to see it in the problem solving unit, how it's always good to group things up. As I said before, if you had a lot of volunteering experience, like organizing events, then call it organization of events, and then you can name them. But it's better to have 3 things than to have 3 things with like sub-bullets than to have, I don't know, 15 things in a row. So this resume, again, has an empty page at the end. Don't do that. Pay attention to detail, because this is what shows it's your first contact with the company. It's really important. So in this case, personal information, don't spend 25% of the page in this personal information. That's why we give you a format, so that you can save space. Education, professional development, it's, as you can also see, this is just hard to read. I don't know where the personal skills end and when the membership starts, for example. Here in self-development, what do these mean, right? Completed Fullbridge program, the fundamentals of steel industry. What was that? Was it a 2-hour seminar? Was it a 4-month class? Was it a visit to a steel company? Like these things, electronics and Arduino, what does this mean exactly? You always put yourself in the shoes of fitting 200 of these, right? Hundreds of these. So make it easier for them. Tell them what you learned in each of these, like, or what they are. Don't assume that the recruiter would know what introduction to feasibility study means. If it's important, make it explicit and say it. And here we have another one. So this is short, right? We do need, I said no more than 1 page, but also not less than 1 page. And I understand, and all the recruiters understand, that you are young and you're young professionals and you may not have a lot of professional experience. And that is okay. We have no problem with that. So how do you make your resume more interesting if you have very little professional experience? So one of the things you can do is like improve your objectives or your mission statement or your purpose statement that you put up here. As I mentioned before, make it relevant for the company you're applying to, make it relevant for the job you're applying to, and try to highlight what's important for you and why you're special in these first like 2 or 3 sentences that you put up here. Education and professional experience. So if you have professional experience, great. If you don't have professional experience, you can include volunteer work. And if you don't have volunteer work either, I encourage you to get some. You can also include coursework. So sometimes when you are in school, you need to do some interesting analysis of a certain company, or you need to go and visit a company, and you need to analyze a market for a new product. So if you do those projects that are a little bigger in school and take longer, it's not just one exercise, but are like, you know, bigger projects that force you to put into practice what you've learned. You can include those here. What else? And the skills part, right? And as I mentioned before, see again here, project management, problem solving, teamwork, adapting. It's always the same skills that you guys just keep putting. So this is important, especially when you're applying for technical jobs. Make sure those basic skills like Java, MySQL, HTML, those are there. But the soft skills are also important. Just make them special for you. Like, how do you know you're good at project management? How did you, what did you project manage, right? Or what did you solve? Or how can you make it like specific to you, and hence it credible, right? Because if everybody puts that are good at problem solving, it's just hard to believe. So I'm going to stop there now because I want to have a few minutes for questions. Let me see. This is example 2. This is a really nice resume. I want to show it because I really like this one. So personal information, education. She highlights all her big names. She had TAC, MIT Media Lab, SAP, Google, King Abdullah University. And here you can see MIT IoT Bootcamp. By the way, last week I was teaching this in Turkey, so that was funny. The American Middle Eastern Language, Harvard Business School. So if you have big names, put them up there, highlight them. You can even put them in bold, like even all these bullets here. I would have bolded MIT IoT Bootcamp, Harvard Business School, Harvard University project. So highlight that. And again, I'm just showing this as like, see how easy it is to read. You know, you have dates all aligned, you have the company, and then the role in the company, and then what she actually did in each company. So this is the best practice. Take a look at this and try to emulate this. I'm going to stop talking now. I've been talking a lot. So tell me, do we have a question?
Yes. So I'm focusing on content-related questions, guys. So if there are other questions, we will try to answer them at a later stage or at the end of the call if there's time. Someone mentioned, Munira says, is it preferred to add my short summer jobs and a work experience section in my resume, knowing that these short summer jobs are related to my...
Mona, you got interrupted. Can you start reading that question again?
Yes, so Munira is asking, is it preferred to add my short summer jobs and a work experience section in my resume, knowing that these jobs are related to my field and each one of them was for like 2 to 3 months max?
Of course. I mean, if you work 3 months on something related to your field, definitely include that.
Very good. Okay. What is the difference between a CV and a resume? Daniel's asking.
So there's a technical definition somewhere. Basically, in the US, they call them resume. In the rest of the world, they call it CV. So It's just the same. It's the same thing. And this is part of the unit. I think it's explained somewhere in the unit. There's different names in the US. They call resume to this one pager, and CV when you're like in academia and you have to share like all the papers you wrote, and then it's like a 15-page thing. They call it CV or curriculum vitae. The rest of the world, we just call it CV.
Okay, very good. Haifa has a question, a good question. Should everything listed on my resume be directly related to the position I'm after? I mean, should I mention extracurricular activities?
If you have cool extracurricular activities, include them. It's a matter of prioritizing, right? So first include everything that's relevant, but then like if you do something that's curious, so there's a test that we interviewers do, that sometimes it's, would you like to be stuck in the airport with this person? And so if you have something interesting that makes you a more interesting person to be stuck in the airport with, definitely include it, right? Don't make the resume about that. You first need to cover the basics and show that you're capable for this job. But then if you have something that makes you more interesting, include it. I think that's a great thing to do.
Excellent. Omar is asking, is it fine to explain where did I get the skill or how did I know about it in the skills section? So he thinks that it's best to go for 2 to 3 word skills. So is it okay for him to elaborate?
Yes, and we can go back and forth. We can post something in the discussion board and discuss this. But again, if you're going to put problem solving, it's as if you had not put anything, because problem solving doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to me, especially when I read it in 50% of the resumes I'm reading, right? So you need to make that more specific. So it's either either making it more relevant for you or explaining how you got there. But let's whatever you put in skills, make sure it sounds credible. Sorry.
Okay. Should we provide a cover letter? Varas is asking.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's required in this case. So cover letters are good to give more context of why you're interested in this particular internship. So for example, I don't know, in my case, I had been wanting to work for McKinsey forever, right? So I had a story to tell. So I could tell that in my cover letter, sorry. So if you have particular reason to address the company, cover letters are good. In this case, Seina, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think cover letters are required, right?
Not at this point in time, no.
No. Thank you. Before we continue with the questions, Mona, I just wanted to say, I just shared some of your resumes, Guy. If I shared yours, don't take it as like, oh my God, my resume is wrong. No, it's just, this is a way to give feedback for everyone and share it, like I chose some resumes that were showing kind of the general issues people face. So I'm just using this as a way for everybody to learn.
Is there time for more or should I?
Sena?
Do you mind if I just add 2 comments based on the question and what you've said? So I've been reviewing quite a few resumes these days. And then I just want to highlight 2 points that Ingrid has mentioned, but I just want to emphasize them. And the issue of dates, right? It's really important that the resume shows a clear timeline for the reviewer. It really annoys me when I do not know when you started your bachelor and when you expect to finish it. For example, it have to do this extra few seconds to find it or understand it. So the issue of having clear dates as to when you did everything and whether you're still doing it or whether it stopped, so beginning and end, is really important. I mean, I can't emphasize this more. And it structures your resume naturally as well. So in education, it gives me a timeline, and your experience gives me a clear timeline of what you've done. So this is very important, just as a point. And then considering where you are at a certain point in your life, your resume will look very differently. So highlighting certain things. So in engineering especially, all the engineering positions that we have today, I know you don't have professional experience, but you've done a lot of projects in the bachelor. So when I have the video of you guys speaking of yourself, you speak of those wonderful projects that you are done, but it's not reflected in your CV. I know these are just university projects, but the good ones, I don't want you to list all of them, like you did a PowerPoint presentation to explain something, but two or one projects that you have done in your engineering field to show me that you've done solar power installation for this project for a month or something is advantageous for you, right? In this specific context. I'm not saying that you do it all the time, but you need to highlight your relevant experience for this engineering position. So this is something that would be really nice to see. I don't want you to put as the laundry list of everything that you've done no, pick one or two if you have it. That is from university, it's fine. But to highlight, to show me that you have done this. So you've done installation, so you've developed a robot, I don't know, one of those things. And then just show very, very brief explanation and give it a date. So I've done it in 2017, or I've done it, or to the present, something like that. So this is just a small points of what I've noticed, and that's relevant that I wanted to share. And then I'm sorry, Muna, I'm kind of stepping on answering your question. And then somebody asked about whether we'll be sending the updated CV to the partner corporation. The answer is yes. So we will be sending the updated ones, of course. This is just, sorry.
No problem. Very valuable. Actually, and along the lines of what you're saying, there was a question here. And of course, I leave Ingrid to answer that, or Zaina, of course. Is it a good idea to add workshops such as risk management or Lean Six Sigma? Abdulrahman is asking that. So
definitely, again, as long as you specify what it is. If you just put Lean Six Sigma, that doesn't mean anything. What is it? Did you read a book? Did you attend a 2-hour talk? Did you do a 3-month intensive course? So workshops are really important, and those things also show your interest and your willingness to learn. So if you have them, include them, but be specific. Like, tell me what is it exactly that you did. Just Lean Six Sigma doesn't tell me anything.
Very good. For a recently graduated person without experience, what is the best way to write about the key academic coursework in his or her resume?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So someone who doesn't have experience, they just have academic,
Yeah, so I wouldn't include the coursework as I took marketing 1 and 2, but what projects did you do in your, as Zaina was mentioning, if you did special projects during those classes that you can name, or say like, I analyzed the market for, entrance of Arabic coffee into the Turkish market, something like that. It's a specific case that you did a project that sounds like something you would do in real life, or like you were talking about like solar panels. I don't know, analyze feasibility of implementing solar panels in Canada. I don't know, something. So make it, if it's something like that, include it. That's important.
Excellent. I have, there are a couple of questions that probably Zaina can respond to. Someone is asking what kind of positions are the partner companies such as Siemens taking on? So what would their positions be for business students?
So one thing we can guarantee is that whoever the partner is, the internship will be in their core business, right? They have different opportunities that are open, but they haven't specified it yet because it is it goes both ways. So it depends on what qualifications you come in with, and they will be offering accordingly the most relevant position based on your background and interest and qualifications. So I cannot answer it specifically at this point in time, but there's two things we guarantee. One, that it will be in the core business of the organization. So you will not go to Siemens to do marketing, for example. Second, it will be something that you'll be interested in, and we're not going to put you in something that you don't care about, for sure. And this is something that becomes more clear as you advance into stages moving forward. And then just to answer a more also kind of a program related question, some of you have applied to more than one internship here. The Fullbridge program is the same. So you go through them regardless whether you're in 2 or 3, 10, it doesn't matter. It's the same program. Go through it. If you're invited more than once, just continue whatever it is you're doing. As you do the interview, you'll be asked to choose one of the internship programs and which one you wish to proceed in with regards to the shortlisting and the interviewing stages.
Okay, very good. I seem to have misplaced the other one that's for you. So do you want to continue, Ingrid, or is there?
Yeah, so I have one more piece of like very, very practical but fundamental advice. And this is the name of the file of your resume should be your last name and your name. Okay. No, can you imagine me? I'm reviewing resumes. I want to hire all these amazing people, and suddenly I was like, oh yeah, I remember this great guy. I don't know, Hebrew. I'm going to find him, and then I go into my folder with resumes, and I have 200 different versions of resume version 213, CV 23, me point version 2, and really cool resume point PDF. So no, like that, you have no idea how difficult you make the recruiter's life by not putting your last name and name in the file, in the name of the file. So please, 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 please do that. Spotlight Search will get it for you. Don't assume your recruiter knows technology. Don't assume your recruiter actually has a Mac either. So you definitely, and don't assume your recruiter even remembers your name, right? So make sure you put your name correctly. And this is also something I found in the previous program. This is more general advice, but when you're dealing with companies that are abroad, if your email comes across in Arabic, it's impossible for us to read, right? So I have no idea who you are. So pay attention that your email, if you want to keep your email in Arabic, that's absolutely cool. But then create an email where your name comes in English to relate to these companies, because otherwise, like, it's just, can you imagine getting an email with just strange characters? It's just not possible for a recruiter to know who you are.
Ingrid, does it also make sense that it should be in a PDF format as a recommended format?
So yeah, thank you. It's like, because when you send the Word, format can change depending on the computer, the font. Like, if you want, whenever you want to send a document that you don't want to be disrupted, send a PDF.
There is one question for Zaina. Someone is asking, I had an interview yesterday with Misk. What is the difference with the one of April 22nd?
What's April 22nd? This is the deadline.
Interviews that will basically shortlist. On April, yeah.
Yes. So the interview there, it's not a matter of difference. It's a matter of process, right? So you have a first interview, you get shortlisted if you're lucky to the next stage, and then another batch will get shortlisted again to the next stage. Some programs have 3 interviews, some of them have 2 interviews, some of them will even have an assessment coming up. So each program is different. So it's not a matter of difference. So if you get accepted, this means you got to the next stage. If to the next interview. If not, this means you have not been shortlisted. At least not at this point in time, because maybe you get contacted later again and you might be interviewed again, depending how this process goes. So there's, it's very fluid moving forward. And it's different from one partner to the other because the requirements are different from one partner. They're not equal. And I read the question is, can I get accepted to more than one? The answer is no. You got shortlisted for more than one, but moving on, at this stage, you will not. You are either going to be Hyperloop only or Siemens only. Why? There are many reasons. One important reason is you don't want to take the seat of another person. And we cannot put you in 10 programs, because as you get shortlisted, you're taking the seat of somebody else, right? And we cannot do that at this point. We need to be fair to the other candidates as well. So yes, but be assured, nothing will happen without your knowledge. We will communicate everything with you moving forward. So the 22nd of April, I think, was our deadline for the Fullbridge program to finish at the maximum your 3 modules moving forward. I think this is what.
Yeah, so interviews were supposed to start then, and then because there's too many interviews, you started it earlier. Yeah. So as soon as you can finish these first interviews, the better. These first unit, so you'll be prepared for whenever the first interview comes. So we've gone 8 minutes over our time now, so want to be respectful of everybody's time. Again, we will respond to all the questions you sent through the Q&A that didn't get an answer yet, so we'll respond that by email. I hope this was useful. Really looking forward to continuing this together. We created yesterday a Q&A channel on Slack to address questions, so we'll be communicating through there too. And yesterday we released a new unit that's organizational IQ that can really help you prepare for the interview, because it teaches you how to analyze a company, how to look at them, and how to get questions for the interviewer. So that's a really cool unit too. And well, we'll be talking again next Friday, this time at 3:30 p.m. So you'll get to sleep. I see someone said muchas gracias. Great. So shukran. It was great being here with you, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and looking forward to seeing you in the platform and in the next call. Ciao.